problem isn't with the list of expectations. That's not the problem. People were trying to figure out how to even prepare here tonight. There was no idea out there as to what kinds of things would be an expectation and so on and so forth. Having this list ahead of time would have been great. Having any kind of list ahead of time would have been great. Section 904.1, it's real clear that given this whole topic, the problem is that this is significant public interest. Significant. This, tonight, I honestly believed when I was at the last council meeting that the reason we went through the schedule to find out when council chambers was open, to make sure that it could be taped and aired, or aired and taped. That's why we chose this date, because if you remember, we went down and saw, oh, council chambers are open. The library meeting, council chambers are open. It was chosen to go over to the community room for the budget meeting because it could be taped. But now, as I understand it, that meeting's not going to be taped. That's budget expectations. And 904 talks about that being that, but maybe I'm just not reading things correctly, but it seems that a budget expectation workshop would be about a budget, and that needs to be taped and aired during the budget process. If you're going to be talking about what you expect from the town departments or whatever it's going to be, it would be good to have people understand before the budget thing begins. So it's looking at this and saying, educate the people. This is the very first time that this kind of a meeting is being held in this town. And it's good. It's good to have it, but the people deserve to be able to see it. And I don't know why. Why couldn't it be? Why could this not, with everybody writing in and saying, air the meeting, what would it have taken? And that's the problem. It's not that, people aren't saying don't have a meeting about expectations. They're saying, let people be able to watch it. Let them go down. They can go down to the clerk and they can, the library doesn't have it, but the town clerk does. You can sign out a disc and then watch it, take it home and bring it back. So people, you need, it would be good to have people have this, I don't have Robin's link, and then we can start to develop ideas, and then when you all start batting things around, we'll at least know what was on the list to know, oh geez, maybe that is a good idea, maybe it's not. Maybe we should include something about recycling. But it's the airing.
Let me just make something clear. When I asked the council for their expectations a few weeks ago, before it came on the agenda, this was before it came on the actual December 4th agenda, I asked, okay, there's some miscommunication, we're pretty dysfunctional here, if you haven't noticed. And so I asked for their expectations, so I said, I'll just compile them all. Anybody that has any duplicates, we'll just compile them all. That way we'll all have them, so we'll all be on the same page when we go to the council meeting. That was the intent. So we could discuss it at a council meeting. Because I thought that would be the appropriate place, because it was televised and taped, and everybody could come up and say, you guys are not doing this right, you're doing that right, this, that, and the other thing. So, but I can't, that list there is from my computer, right? That one that I asked Louise to make a copy of, that was based on something that we did own now, that the town, former council did. But that can't be distributed as council will, because that was just keep from my little computer. So the council, by distributing that ahead of time, for me, that's just me. You would have to get something from everybody. That's not compiled by the council. It would be something that had to be compiled by the whole council to be able to distribute to the whole public. Because otherwise, you might disagree with Councilor Furtado says. You might agree with me, probably not, but maybe. You might agree with Councilor Maylott. But until we sit down and talk about it and make the list to get put out to the public, then it's difficult. We're going to be able to sit down and talk about the list.
The question I really have is, what about this meeting did not meet the criteria in 904.1? And if that had been addressed in plain English and said, yes, I can see how this is a significant interest to the public. And tomorrow night's meeting with the budget expectations, how that should be taped. It's there, the system is up and running, it's easily taped, it takes nothing to do it. This is the problem. The problem is that it's not the expectations. The problem is not having this, with people saying they wanted it taped and aired.
Said they didn't care. So, I mean, there's both sides of the story. So let me just say this.
If people wrote in,
And you pointed
To say I don't
care. Information request on my meeting with the manager. And number two, this is on November 20th. Workshops may not be televised except at the discretion of the majority of the council on the case of budget workshops. And that was on November 20th. So staff knew.
for the case of budget,
Except for the case of budget workshops, which is in the charter. So town council meetings and budget workshops, anything to do with the finances.
Right.
I was trying to follow the charter with that on November 20th. So staff knew on November 20th that I didn't think that this meeting, because it was way before even we had that terrible meeting, with the manager, it was more about me than the manager. This expectation was way before that.
But we need to take the present in context.
no.
I'm just telling you this right. I'm telling you this now, so I asked. That's what I said. Because let the majority of the council decide.
That's on November 20th.
Yeah.
And then the meeting happened on December, whatever day that was, okay? And things have progressed, and the problem is that when you look at it and you say, based on the charter, first of all, that number 2 would say that tomorrow night's meeting should be aired. It should not air, it should be videotaped.
It's supposed to be taped tomorrow.
Not
At the police station.
No.
No one had, tomorrow's, anything budget is taped, that's why we had to have it there.
Well,
We couldn't have it downstairs.
you need to
Couldn't have it
check.
at the library.
Sherry, you're right, but that's not what
That's not
what the clerk's office is
No.
doing.
And
So that's not.
no one has been given that direction. And so there's a miscommunication, I'm so sorry.
No,
Miscommunication, I agree.
Okay, so communications need to be extremely clear. It can't be as vague as we're going to follow the charter. It needs to be a yes or no, and tonight's meeting needs to be taped. People can't just be wondering what these expectations are all about. We would have been so far into this whole list by now. A lot of work would have been done. It could have been easily handled. And that's the problem. That's truly the problem. And I'm not going to take the thing out.
I guess to the chair, I mean, it is evident that this issue has caused significant public interest. I mean, you read the emails, I read the emails, it was obvious. And I think we could have taken steps even at the last minute to get it on TV, and we should have.
Through the chair,
Yes.
just in case anybody forgot, the charter is constitutionally enabled municipal law. It's not a rag. And the legal intent of, is it 904? About significant public interest of a meeting, what might happen at a meeting, for the most part pertains to a meeting that will have votes with consequent action. But the legal intent behind the term public interest is if something that will be voted and have a consequence, that consequence will be directly on the people. Their garbage won't get picked up. Their